Welcome back. Flower cellar, look. Garden gnomes again now. Another beautiful piece of stained glass. I like that they've retained so much of the stained glass look. And with an added upper gallery like this, very rare to be able to get this close up to stained glass. So Adam and Eve, like the Tree of Life, I think. I know a lot of my page members like me love stained glass. My mum loves stained glass as well. She often comments on the stained glass pictures. To haul myself back up now. That doesn't do anything. That's disappointing, isn't it? Turn that on, look. Nothing happens. Usually they move about, these automatons, but they must be broken. There's the workings of it. Oh Christ, even look. Yeah, it's not catching on that wheel, look. Could fix that easily by moving that along. Currency packets. Hopefully someone will fix them soon. Cool. Look. Yates. Reliable seeds. I think they're still going today. I think. Sydney, Auckland, Manchester. Different varieties and things you can get, look. Hope you're all finding this one interesting. Sorry if it's bored some of you, but as I say, I like to cater for everyone. Including myself, of course. I like gardening, so wanted dried or alive. An onion bulb. known as Ward and Newton's Giants exhibition, weighed £6 or over. Complexion dried or green as lifted. Must be raised from Ward and Newton seeds or plants. Look. The old advertisements. I've still got my wallet. $1939. That will be from an old Victorian kitchen garden, that greenhouse, or something like a big nursery. A lot of the old manor houses and mansion houses had their own kitchen gardens that employed a large amount of staff. William Pamplin the Younger. And this is the Finis Scott Gallery, this one. James Sowerby. Always reminds me of the Undertaker from Oliver Twist when I hear the name Sowerby. You know, the one that arrives back drunk, as a go by his wife, and he goes, "I'm not drunk, I met a friend in the cemetery." Goes and lays down in the coffin, goes to his wife, "My dear, it's perfectly comfortable." And that coffin was for one of their most important clients as well. So I hope he didn't do it yet. I laid inside a medieval stone coffin once when I was a teenager and had my picture taken. My nanny was a particularly superstitious woman. When she saw the picture, I wasn't pleased at all. She was really superstitious, my nan. We'll be finished up in this bit in a minute, and then we shall be out for the courtyard garden and the grave of the Tradescants, or the tomb of the Tradescants. It's very warm in here, I must admit. And that is one of those, just on a big scale, that thing that we saw. Once we've done this room, then that's the upstairs bit done then. So we may be able to finish off lastly at the courtyard garden and cover it all in this one video. We shall see. Been a bit of a long one this one, I know, but as I say, I do like to cover everything thoroughly if I can. We've got these little viewing windows that open up. You can look out and see the church and the architecture. A lover's chair, or lover's bench. You often found those in rose gardens years ago. Obviously because of the romantic connotations of the rose. Telescope in the garden at North Mims Place, dated July the 17th, 1813, John Claude Norts. Oh, this is interesting, North Mims. My mum's family came from South Mims, and they had a farm. Yeah, that covers us. We shall walk back through the way we've come. Bill and Ben, the flower pot men, do you remember those? My grandmother did not like Bill and Ben, the flower pot men, I must admit. Alright, this covers us, so you will now join me back downstairs. Over there, we'll be going out for the courtyard garden. And here we go, out into the courtyard garden, and I will have to point you down because there are tables and chairs and people are eating. Where are they? The Tradescants. There they are. This is the Tradescants tomb. It's been restored several times over the years. I'll walk you around it slowly. As you can see, it's got an amazing level of detail on this one. Tradescants went all over the world. Egypt, as you can see. And the coat of arms. And what inscription there is there. Just some views of the church. It's the Tradescant family tomb, ladies and gents. I don't know if the writing is legible on it or not. Don't know. Oh, look. That's a shame. Sacred to the memory of William Bligh, Esquire, Fellow of the Royal Society, Vice Admiral of the Blue, the celebrated navigator who first transplanted the breadfruit trees from Otaheite to the West Indies, bravely fought the battles of his country and beloved, respected and lamented, and died beloved, respected and lamented on the 7th day of December 1817. I'll just put it that way so I can photograph that. So, to the memory of Mrs. Elizabeth Bligh, wife of the Rear Admiral Bligh, who died April the 15th, 1812, in the 60th year of her age. Her spirit to the heavy blessed domain, where virtue only can its meed obtain. All the great duties she performed through life, those of a child, a parent and a wife. I don't know if there's an inscription around that side. No, there's not. Lake on that bit. Yeah. So I will have to point you down because there are a lot of people around, and I won't film people without their consent. But yeah, there are more tombs. Look, this is Mary Fulbrook, wife of Matthew Fulbrook of this parish, died 27th of August 1805, aged 67 years. And you've got the late Matthew Fulbrook, husband of the above, who died 10th of March 1810, aged 78 years. Also Alexander, Catherine Forrest, died 7th of May 1809, aged 2 years and 11 months. And Augusta Murray Forrest, died 16th of March 1811, aged 2 years and 7 months. Daughters of Robert and Catherine Forrest of this parish, and the granddaughters to the above. And you've got also Anne Fulbrook, died 15th of May 1815, aged 51 years. Also Mary Ann Fulbrook, died 30th of June 1850 something, and I can't see the rest because there's a flower pot on it and I'm not moving it. Here is another tomb over here. So a lot of the tombs have been repaired and restored over the years. Mr. Francis de Cleve, died May the 3rd, 1795, aged 30. Also Mr. William Vincent de Cleve. Mr. Thomas Butler. Read them for yourself because obviously I can't stop too much. People all about.
I know.
And there are more tombs here. Mr. William Pearson, who died September the 22nd, 1823, aged 85 years. Also Mrs. Grace Pearson, wife of the above, died 9th of July 1824, in her 85th year. Also Mrs. Sarah Honey, daughter of the above, who died June the 18th, 1815, aged 37. Also Mr. Thomas Pearson, son of the above, who died September the 14th, 1824, aged, I think that's 57. Also Mrs. Susanna Collett, wife of looks like Automaton Collett, daughter of the above, William Pearson, who died the 1st of January 1841, aged 59 years. And you've got also Mr. And that's her husband, look. Timothy or something. No, I can't really make that out. There's flowers in the crop around. Look, that's nice. Sacred to the memory of Elizabeth, the wife of Mr. Richard Williamson of this parish, who departed this life May the 3rd, 1847. Pilgrim, we may not grieve for thee. Thy God has claimed thee to thy rest. The heaven where each saint would be is caned, and thou art something blessed. It's run away. Also the above named Mr. Richard Williamson, who departed this life March the 7th, 18... Oh, that's really annoying, look. 48. You just see the bottom of the file. It's 1848. The Lord gave, and the Lord have taken away. So yeah, and I think that pretty much concludes this, because we've got a couple over here, these small ones, which you can just see. Only one of them, or one or two of them, has writing on. Oh, and there's a few things in a cabinet here. Sacred to the memory of Alexander Cossa, late of this parish, who departed this life the 18th of September 1815, aged 55 years. And these small ones, someone once said to me it was for people that couldn't afford a full-sized grave, and they were buried, some people were buried standing up, but I've only ever heard of that happening about Ben Jonson. Here lieth interred ye body of Anne, wife of Roberts of the city of Bristol, Gent, who departed this life the 19th of November, Anno Domini 1665, aged 82 years. That makes you wonder, 1665, was she a plague? Was she a plague victim? Oh look, tradesman's tomb ledger. Hester Tradescant, widow of the younger John Tradescant, commissioned a family tomb after his death in 1662. No stranger, here thou pass beneath. This stone lie John Tradescant, grandsire, father, son. Last he died in spring, the two lived till they travelled art and nature through, as by their choice collections may appear, of which is rare in land, in sea and air, whilst they as Homer's Iliad in a nut, a world of wonders in one closet shut. These famous antiquarians that had been both gardeners to the rose and lily queen, transplanted now themselves, sleep here, and when angels shall with their trumpets waken men, a fire shall purge the world, these three shall rise and change in this garden paradise. Erected in 1662, repaired by subscription in 1773, restored in 1988. So, this is the top slab for the Tradescant's lot, which is really interesting. I'll take a picture of that like that. That's it. Zoom this back in. And obviously the top ledger slab off of the tomb they keep here now, so it's safe. They're not going to leave that laid on the tomb. So yeah, we've seen the tomb. think it's slightly later slab, and we're seeing this slab now. So that's the Tradescants, very, very famous gardeners. I will end with that lastly, but there are these items in this cabinet. Look. Ceramic figures, stirring a pot and ceramic head, made by Sybil Phoenix, ABE. Caribbean Garden Heritage in South London, the same roots exhibition in the Garden Museum ran from the 15th of November 2021 till the 6th of March 2022. This is a small display of some of the loans from the participants who took part in Garden Museum's oral history project about gardens of the Caribbean descent living in London. Gardeners of Caribbean descent living in London. Well, and that concludes our tour, and this is the Tradescants, which is one of the main reasons I came here. So I hope you've all found this one interesting, and we will end off with one last important figure from history, or fairly quite important, of her day. She was the mother of a queen, St. Clement Danes, who departed this life October the 9th. Sorry. October 19, 870, is that the year? 786, aged 44 years. This is interesting. St. Clement Danes. He departed this life October the 9th, 17. I think that's 1786. Yeah, it is. It's 1786. Oh, that was interesting. I'm glad I noticed that one. And who I shall end us off with is Elizabeth Howard, the mother of Anne Boleyn, the ill-fated Queen of Henry VIII, or one of them anyway. So I hope you've all found this interesting, and thank you. And it's not all that often that I'm able to show images of people that feature in our church or churchyard or cemetery videos, but in this case I'm able to, and I love that aspect of it. Here you see the Tradescants, portrait of a couple, said to be John Tradescant the Elder and his wife Elizabeth. Now that image is said to be them. This one we know for certain is definitely John Tradescant the Elder, and painted by Thomas de Critz, and notice the plants and vegetable references all around him. Here's some information on the Tradescants. Just pause to read each page because I'll only stop for around 10 seconds on each one. And here you've got John Tradescant the Younger, the son and the heir, and the one that took over the business, the museums, and the role of being the king's gardener. Portrait also attributed to Thomas de Critz, the man who painted his father. Another portrait of him here is John Tradescant the Younger as gardener, also Thomas de Critz. And here's that little portrait miniature we saw in the museum itself on the day of the visit. So here we go, much clearer image of it here. And here's John the Younger, here's his wife, Hester. and her stepson, attributed to Thomas de Critz. He obviously liked the Tradescants, didn't he? Here's some information on them, so just once again pause to read. And of course, Captain Bligh. We saw his tomb, him and his wife's tomb, just after the Tradescants, didn't we? And I should have mentioned it, but didn't think, to be honest with you. Captain Bligh, most famous for the Mutiny on the Bounty. So we saw that tomb, and I couldn't, of course, leave an image off of him. So interesting, fascinating event in world history, that one, or British history, if you like. The Mutiny on the Bounty. So many people know about that. So yeah, here you've got the face of Captain Bligh, the Mutiny on the Bounty man. And of course, last but not least, the mother of Anne Boleyn, Elizabeth Howard. And as I say in the other bit about that I done about them the other day, this portrait is attributed to being an image of her in younger life. So not certain if it's her, but if it is, it's the only likeness really of her from her time. So, I hope you've all found this little tour interesting. Thanks very much for watching. Join me on the next one. And our next part, which will be a separate one from these ones, is the churchyard tour. But that will go on its own. Thanks for watching, everyone.